on the dollar, as an extra perk, for their cooperation. And this structure, as I mentioned, it's very basic. It's a corporate for-profit structure. The annual financial report of government, or they put one word at the front, calling it a comprehensive annual financial report. You can go on Google and do a search. Say, for example, you wanted the city of Burbank. Put the city of Burbank in quotes, and then CAFR, C-A-F-R, after it. Bang, pops right up for downloading. City of Los Angeles, county of Los Angeles, same thing. Now, you heard about Los Angeles out on the news. Oh, we're short on money, and da-da-da-da. Well, I put out a post listing L.A. City's CAFR and L.A. County's CAFR. I'm going to ask you a question, Alex. What do you think the annual operating budget is for L.A. County?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
$4 billion.
$17.5 billion.
Okay.
With about $250 billion in investment funds. When I kind of brought that note out on a national post on my email list, all of a sudden L.A. disappeared from the news headlines. But here's the bottom line. This is very important, so important. This would cause the earth to shake and the stars to fall from the heavens, metaphorically speaking, if the public bought this cognitive thought. I spotlight, one pension fund at the top of my webpage, and on my articles page, which you can click and go to, you'll see the New York State Retirement Fund CAFR listing of investments. When you go down through listing of investments, either California or New York, you'll see the top profit makers in order are the banks and financial institutions, number one. Number two, the pharmaceutical companies in the healthcare industry, groups, number one. You now know why the health care bill passed as it passed, because it guarantees profits for the government on their ownership of the healthcare and pharmaceutical companies, and also their participation with the insurance companies. The number one profit makers from the healthcare bill guaranteed them profits by funneling in trillions of dollars of taxpayer revenue to guarantee themselves their profits. Number two are the financial, banks, and brokerage industries. Number three are the oil companies. And number four are the war industry groups. And when you see this in every one of these large reports, I mentioned pension fund reports because they list the individual investments, where a city or a county report, they list totals but not where the money is invested. So a good model to look at are the pension fund reports, because you can be assured that the cities and counties that have specialty funds, self-insurance funds, advanced forward liability accounts, they're investing their money in approximately the same manner as the pension funds do. And when you start looking at one report after another report, you see how massive this is, how diversified, world ownership, domestic ownership, real estate projects. In fact, all of the pension funds I noticed over the last two years, they started specialty real estate spec accounts to buy up commercial property, houses.
Because they knew they were about to depress it. Stay there. I found the article out of USA Today. Private pay shrinks to historic lows as government payouts rise. But separately, they're now getting, many counties are laying off half their police or more. They're not fixing the roads. They're cutting teacher pay. So why are they so greedy? I mean, if the big central banks with government, and I say corporate takeover because the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and others, the Goldman Sachs people, they're in there piloting government. So it's these top global corporations teamed up with the government. I understand your point is in dollars and cents, it's the government's taking over everything. But that's their force. They've also used the Chinese slave labor to destroy all their economic manufacturing competition. So this is a game of criminal scorched earth consolidation. My issue for you is, though, if they've already taken everything over, why are they wanting to make everybody poor, to control us? Why are they wanting to squeeze the teachers and the police? I guess because we're a bunch of dumb schmucks who put up with it. Why not? I mean, break down from your research. I remember you 12 years ago talking about derivatives and the derivatives bomb and how they were using derivatives to take over. I want Walter Burien to look into the crystal ball and tell me, where is this going? What is their master plan? What's going to happen if we don't cause an awakening to this fraud and somehow reverse it?
Well, they're creating one massive police state for the big foot on top of the entire world population, with a group at the top calling all the shots, controlling all situations, and reaping the whirlwind of reward from trillions funneling into their structure, which they have control over.
And using the carbon tax to destroy selectively any industry we try to start. I mean, this is total slavery.
Well, I go down to the point of look at those investments, where they're invested, as I give the examples on my webpage, and you'll see that every policy decision that's made from government is specifically, the underlying motive was to generate and create their own profits, guaranteeing their own profits.
And that's why they put cancer viruses in the vaccines. That's why they put poison in the water. That's why we have government documents about how they want to kill us by 60, because they're making their profits off the health care as they're killing us. They're making their profits off the wars as they kill us. They're making their profits off the banking as they steal people's pension funds. And I guess they think their police state is going to be able to enforce this, Walter.
Well, the key point here is they've done such an excellent job of taking over the entire investment arena. And I point to the government pension funds as one of the takeover vehicles. If you look at the return from those funds, which is massive, what I brought forward is you can create what I call a TRF fund, tax retirement fund, structure for any city, county, state, school district, where you create an exact same thing as a pension fund, but it's intentionally designed not to pay a salary and benefit of retirement, but to pay the ongoing budgetary obligations for that city, that county, that school district, so all taxation can be phased out incrementally all across the country.
Now, listen, the globalists wrote 100 years ago that the problem of industrialization is it was going to make us all fabulously rich, so they financed Marx and Engels on record to come in with a new scam to con people back into slavery. And so basically what they've done is they've created, as Ron Paul and others have pointed out, a financial system through fractional reserve banking that is impossible to pay back. And so they've created a system which will enslave us again. No matter how hard we work and no matter what we do, they're going to raise taxes until everything goes to them, and then they're going to convert the economy to pure prisons, torture, war, and surveillance, which is then meant to carry out the mass extermination of us. So they're financing a giant panopticon extermination grid that funds itself in the financial consolidation of waging financial siege, shutting us off, then making us dependent on them, then their government eugenics-run health care then carries out our soft kill.
Take definition of a takeover.
Yes.
And keep in mind, all of the issues are very basic and fundamental regarding looking at the scope of the takeover, what's owned, what's bought, who's doing what. Never mention, never word from syndicated media. I had thousands of people call me, Walter, how come our local newspaper or syndicated media doesn't report on this? Why don't they do their job? I say they do an excellent job. They do exactly what they're paid to do, and that is not a mention or a word. That is what they're paid to do.
Let me ask you a question. Why in the last 3 years, then, have I seen a shift? Whereas they would lie about the government shipping in heroin and cocaine and growing it, now they just admit it and say it's for your own good. Before they would say Bin Laden tapes were real, now they admit they're fake and that they put them out. They would deny they were putting cancer viruses in the vaccines. Now they say they're there. It's not a problem. They would deny they were chemtrailing. Now the White House science czar comes out and says we are spraying the skies. It's secret. It's for your own safety. Now... this has become so mainstream. I'm suddenly getting on all these radio stations, most of them mom and pops, but some of them big ones. And the word I get is the globalists don't even care. That they think they're so powerful now, they don't even care.
To take over by government of the banks, brokers, houses, equity markets worldwide. They never mention, never words from the syndicated media. I mean, the silence is golden routine is still played out there, and it's the most important factor because everything stems from it. But on the remedy factor, it's very important to realize, as I mentioned, look at those return on those pension funds. You can administratively remodify any local government tomorrow and set it up on a structure where it pays all of its budgetary obligations based on the pension fund.
All right, let's put this in layman's terms. Let's put it in layman's terms. If we, the people, take over Travis County and take the billions of dollars that they put in investments that they never tell the public about, we could restructure that however we wanted to. That's the big secret. So you're saying we need counties and cities, as you said 12 years ago on my show, as you said 4 years ago, as you're saying today, this could be done anywhere. And the public has like some psychological brainwashing point where they just can't. I mean, has anyone tried to do what you're saying?
20,000 sound bites to keep them distracted off in La La Land as the boys continue business as usual. And this is so basic and fundamental, but when you never hear a peep, never mention their word, not a cognitive thought generated from the syndicated media-controlled education in both political parties, that void and vacuum maintains. Now, it's starting to break. I've worked over 10 years now. Did 550 radio programs, a lot of articles, and a lot of people are starting to comprehend. And there was an economist from California, a Harvard graduate, Carl Herman. 2 days ago, he put out 2 CAFR articles calling for a complete audit review for doing what I'm mentioning here, to phase out taxation in California. I made a few corrections on his articles, and he's now, doing another economist who was an alert in another large article.